Mental health is real. Seek help. And the stigma. On the news this afternoon, wanted Ahoda East officials surrender to Rivers Police Command. Rivers sole administrator demands accountability from new permanent secretaries. ADC denies coup plot against President Tinubu's government. The federal government says Nigeria won't bow to U.S. pressure to accept Venezuelan deportees. And on the foreign scene, dozens taken to hospital after suspected mass overdose in Baltimore. My name is Jude Omamegbe, and this is the news.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for sticking with us. We begin the news this afternoon from Port Harcourt, where the Rivers State Police Command says the Chief Security Officer of Ahoda East Local Government Area, Mr. Hector Ekeakita, and the Chief of Staff, Mr. Aloni Olodi, who were declared wanted, yesterday turned themselves in at the command headquarters on Moscow Road, Port Harcourt. They were declared wanted on Sunday in connection with allegations of criminal conspiracy, theft, and assault causing harm to the sole administrator of Ahoda East, Mr. Goodluck Iheanacho. Spokesperson of the command, SP Grace Iringekoko, in a statement said the suspects were interviewed by the State Commissioner of Police and his management team. SP Iringekoko said following the preliminary interview, they were handed over to the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of State Criminal Investigations Department, SCID, for further investigation. The police command says anyone with useful information that can assist in the ongoing investigation should come forward. The Commissioner of Police, CP Olugbenga Adepoju, has called for the public's cooperation in ensuring that justice is served. The statement also states it remains committed to maintaining law and order in Rivers State and assures the public that the investigation will be thorough and transparent. Well, moving on now, Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered that hearing notices be reissued to parties in a suit filed by Dr. Farah Dagogo challenging the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State and the appointment of retired Rear Admiral Ibokete Ibas as sole administrator by President Bola Tinubu. The judge gave the directive due to the absence of the third and fourth respondents in the Nigerian Senate the third and fourth respondents, the Nigerian Senate and the House of Representatives, to ensure proper representation at the next hearing. At Wednesday's resumed sitting, only the first and fifth respondents were represented in court by Professor Kanyishola Ajayi and Abdul-Jabbar Aliyu. The presiding judge, Justice Omotosho, however, adjourned the matter to the 7th of October 2025, following the start of the court's annual vacation. In another development, Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday relived his near removal experience as governor of Borno State during the days of former President Goodluck Jonathan. The vice president spoke yesterday at the public presentation of OPL 245, the inside story of the $1.3 billion oil block, a memoir written by former Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohammed Bello Adoke. Shettima said it was the courageous intervention of former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, who told Jonathan that he had no power to remove an elected governor, that saved him.
Former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was mooted the idea of removing the Borno governor and Aminu Tambuwal, the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, had the courage to tell the President that, Your Excellency, you don't have the power to remove an elected councillor. The President was still not convinced. He mooted the idea at the Federal Executive Council. He told the then President that, Mr. President, you do not have the power to remove a sitting governor, not even a councillor.
In the meantime, River State Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Eba, says his mandate is to restore peace in River State requires the support of the civil servants. Administrator Eba said this while swearing in 8 newly appointed permanent secretaries at the Government House in Port Harcourt on Thursday. He said the appointment of the new permanent secretaries is a direct contribution to the presidential mandate given to him.
You are being called to serve at a time when River State is undergoing delicate, necessary transition, unmarked by the charge by His Excellency to restore peace, stability, and good governance to our dear state. That presidential directive is unambiguous to reset governance, ensure institutional order, and uphold the integrity of the public service as a foundation for peace. Your appointment today must be seen as a direct contribution to that national mandate.
Ibas also charged them to be accountable and promote peace through good governance.
Your emergence, therefore, is not only timely but strategic. As permanent secretaries, you are not merely administrative heads, you are stewards of public trust, the custodians of due process, and the drivers of policy implementation. The stability of service, clarity of policy direction, and the integrity of government transactions depend largely on your capacity to lead with accountability and foresight. I therefore charge you all to promote peace through good governance.
The sole administrator said his administration will monitor their activities, reward excellence. The newly appointed permanent secretaries are Imanoyani Ephraim George, Dabite George, Soebi Tien Harry, Loretta Dinkpa, Uche Ideozu, Jeremiah Egu, Nicholas Wokama, and Vera Dike. Meanwhile, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, says it has no intention of undermining Nigeria's democracy. Interim National Publicity Secretary of the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi, in a statement clarified that its mission is to wrest power from the APC democratically. Abdullahi was reacting to a tweet by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga. He said that Onanuga alleged that the opposition was planning to overthrow the President Bola Tinubu government before 2027. Abdullahi described the allegations as baseless and false narrative aimed to clamp down on opposition leaders and activities under the guise of national security. Well, still to come, a federal government says Nigeria won't bow to U.S. pressure to accept Venezuelan deportees. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the short break.
On 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Well, welcome back to the Million News this afternoon. My name is Jude Omamigbe. Now we'll continue our news report with news from the presidency, where the presidency has denied claims that President Bola Tinubu is responsible for recent internal crises within opposition parties. Presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, in an interview on Arise Television, called the accusations baseless and politically driven. He specifically refuted suggestions that Tinubu interfered with the new opposition alliance involving Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and others. He also rejected claims by a former SGF boss, Mustafa, who argued that Buhari already had a strong voter base and that the 2013 APC merger added only about 3 million votes. Onanuga said former President Muhammadu Buhari could not have won the 2015 election without the vital support of President Bola Tinubu and the Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN. He emphasized that Tinubu's role was pivotal in securing Buhari's victory over Goodluck Jonathan. Moving on now, as Nigeria records a historic call to bar with over 5,700 new lawyers, a lawyer, Nnamdi Ekwulu, has joined to advise the new lawyers to uphold the highest standards of professionalism in line with the rules of professional conduct 2007. He gave the advice in an interview with correspondent Emeka Otuka. Let's take a listen to that, please.
My advice to those that have just been recently called to bar yesterday and today is that they maintain high level of professionalism. They should know that they are now watchdogs to the society. They should play pivotal roles to making the society a better place. They should never compromise their standards or encourage anyone to be on the wrong side of the law, because currently we have lawyers who are rascals in the system. But as new weeks, I believe they have inculcated in them discipline as lawyer affairs.
Well, as you may know, the call to bar ceremony started on Tuesday and ended on Thursday at the Body of Benches complex in Abuja. In another development, Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tugar says Nigeria will not cave in to pressure from the President Donald Trump administration to accept Venezuelan deportees from the U.S. Tugar, who spoke on Channels Television, said Nigeria has enough challenges of its own and will not be a dumping ground for Venezuelan prisoners deported from the U.S. amid Trump's crackdown on undocumented migrants. As you may know, President Bola Tinubu joined other world leaders to attend the BRICS summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, on Sunday and on Monday. On the final day of the summit, held by the 11-member economic and political force with Chinese influence, U.S. President Donald Trump announced his decision to hit anti-American BRICS nations, including China, India, and Nigeria, with an extra 10% trade tariff. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister said the tariff hike threats might not have to do with Nigeria's participation in the BRICS summit. In 2025 January, Nigeria accepted an invitation to join BRICS Plus as a partner country.
And now the business news.
Well, to the world of business now, the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, has raised the alarm that some corrupt Nigerian politicians are now hiding their illicit wealth in cryptocurrencies to evade scrutiny and detection by anti-graft agencies. Olukoyede said this on Thursday at an event commemorating Africa Anti-Corruption Day. The EFCC boss said the agency has uncovered a growing trend where fraudulent public officials now use cryptocurrency wallets to stash stolen public funds and conduct illicit transactions. He said the EFCC is not helpless in the face of the sophisticated schemes and that proactive training and intelligence sharing have enabled the Commission to identify and investigate such cases. 1 year after the Supreme Court ruled that Nigeria's 774 local governments must receive their allocations directly from the Federation account, the federal government continues to route funds through the state governments, defying the ruling. Despite the creation of an implementation committee and orders to the CBN to open individual accounts for the local governments, reports have shown that over 4.5 trillion naira has still been channeled through states between July of 2024 and June of 2025. Legal experts and labor unions blame state governors and the federal government for the delay. The Tinubu administration has asked top officials to resolve the bottlenecks. However, implementation remains stalled. To entertainment now, Nollywood actress and social advocate Iyabo Ojo has responded to disturbing viral videos in which a group of men publicly wished her death and accused her of derailing the pursuit of justice for late singer Mohbad. In a lengthy and heartfelt statement shared on Instagram, Ms. Ojo addressed the threats and clarified her role in the hashtag Justice for Mohbad, said she had been invited by the Nigerian Police Force or National Cybercrime Center in Abuja regarding petitions filed against her, alleging cyberbullying and false accusations relating to the controversial death of the 27-year-old artist. She said she had never accused anyone of being responsible for Mohbad's death. According to her, her only action at the time was to request that a fellow individual make themselves available for police questioning in order to clear the air surrounding their names. And to world of sports now, Nigeria's Chinwendu Ihezuo's late strike sealed the second consecutive win for the Super Falcons at the ongoing Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco on Thursday. And finally, from the international scene, at least 25 people have been taken to hospital in West Baltimore following suspected drug overdoses. Officials from the region's fire department said 5 people were admitted in critical condition, with others in serious condition. The incident, which took place near a road intersection in the Penn North state of the city on Thursday morning, led to the Maryland Department of Transportation closing a nearby subway station where roads were also blocked. Fire Chief James Wallace told reporters that emergency services on the scene were directed to multiple people suspected of overdosing by members of the public. Well, that was the news this afternoon, but before we leave, a quick recap of the stories. On the news this afternoon, you heard Wanted Ahoda East officials have surrendered to the Rivers State Police Command. Rivers Sole Administrator has demanded accountability from newly sworn-in permanent secretaries. ADC has denied plotting a coup against President Tinubu's government. The federal government says Nigeria will not bow to U.S. pressure to accept Venezuelan deportees. And on the foreign scene, dozens have been taken to the hospital after a suspected mass overdose in Baltimore. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, please send an SMS or WhatsApp message to 0808-721-7215, 0808-721-7215. My name is Jude Omamegbe. Thank you for listening and good afternoon.